Welcome into the latest edition of ESPN FC. I'm Dan Thomas, joined by Shaka Hislop, Craig Burley and Stevie Nicol. A little later on we'll reflect on Lionel Messi stealing the show once again for Barcelona, but we kick things off at the Allianz Arena. Bayern taking on Liverpool. Remember, it was 0-0 after the first leg. Liverpool, though, with a 3-1 comprehensive win in Germany. As good as Liverpool were, Bayern Munich were just terrible. So obviously, from a Liverpool's point of view, great result. From a neutral, and indeed for a Bayern fan, this game was flat, wasn't it? It didn't quite live up to, I suppose, what we would be expecting.
No, well, maybe we were spoiled a bit yesterday
Sure.
with that great comeback from Ronaldo and Juventus. But I did. Liverpool-Bayern is, as soon as that game was announced, it was drawn out, it was like, this is going to be 180 minutes of blood and guts and attacking football. And, you know, we got a 0-0 in the first leg, which was job done to an extent from Bayern. But when you look at Bayern Munich, Dan, 90 minutes at Anfield and 90 minutes plus in the Allianz Arena, and 2 shots on target. Yeah. 2 shots on target. That's abysmal for a team with, you know, okay, some might say it's an aging side, and it is, but they've got more quality than that.
Now, was that because Liverpool stifled them, stopped them from playing, or was this Bayern's own doing?
I would love to say that Liverpool came and were just too clever and sat in a great spot. But the truth is, I don't think Bayern actually knew what they wanted to do.
Right.
Clearly, the first leg, they sit tight, give nothing away. And then at home, and the reason we all pretty much said Bayern are now favourites is because at home, you expect them to be the team pushing the game. Well, they didn't. They didn't do anything. They didn't sit back. They didn't go forward. They just sort of sat and waited. And the fact that, if you look at the stats, they end up with more possession, that's only because Liverpool kept giving them the ball.
Yeah.
That's nothing to do with what they were doing. Liverpool on the ball in this game, overall, I thought were atrocious. Actually, were as bad as I've ever seen. But it goes to show you, it doesn't matter. Stats don't matter. It's the final scoreline that counts, and Liverpool go through 3-1.
The thing is, I think Bayern Munich allowed Liverpool to control them, or what they did, in many respects. And as much as you're right, this is an aging Bayern Munich team, it's an experienced one. A team that's been here and done it before. You see that with the likes of Juventus, how they somehow seem to get the job done. Bayern go to Anfield, don't really offer an awful lot, but first legs can be cagey affairs, and that's what you saw. But given their experience, you expected a whole lot more from Bayern Munich at home. Yet, they never did. They never seemed to get out of that second gear. They seem to be more concerned with conceding the away goal than going out and scoring the goals that would take them through to the next round. And as a result, Liverpool started a little bit cagely and then recognized that and were allowed to play the game that comes natural to them. And they just controlled the game from there on in.
I thought it was going to be a much better performance for Bayern, judging on the Bundesliga.
Yeah.
Right, that's where...
Well, we were saying, you beat Wolfsburg 6-0, you're bringing all that momentum in. Frank Ribéry comes off the bench, gets 3 assists, starts today. He doesn't do anything, James doesn't do anything, Lewandowski was missing.
So we have to base the form on the domestic league, because that's where they've been, obviously, that's, you know, after the winter break, they've pegged back Borussia Dortmund. Mm-hmm. So you base your facts on they're playing better, they're back in form, they're scoring goals again, and they're probably going to beat Dortmund in the league, but how is that in comparison to playing against a Liverpool side that have been, let's be honest, been a little bit flaky, particularly the game at Man United, and then there was one after that escapes me where they won and didn't play particularly well. But then you look at it and you've got, forgetting Schalke to an extent, who got spanked by Man City, you've got Dortmund at the top at the time who got absolutely spanked by Tottenham, and then you've got a Liverpool side that didn't even have to play anywhere near its best and beat them. So it's been a bad round of 16 for the Bundesliga. There's no doubt about it.
There was a time in the second half when Liverpool go 2-1 ahead.
Yeah.
This is a cup competition. So if you're Bayern, your natural instinct you would expect is the team wants to go forward because they have, I think, 20 minutes to go before the end of the game. So you think automatically the players are going to grab the thing with the scruff of the neck and go forward. And you think the crowd's going to start trying to encourage them and push them forward as well. Well, none of those things happened. Straight from the kick-off, they lose the ball and Liverpool are on the attack. Yeah. I mean, it just goes... Everything they did in this tie went against what normally happens. Mm-hmm.
I think Bayern, I think everyone would agree, need a major overhaul. Raf be on tomorrow to talk about that. Meanwhile, Liverpool, weird, Stevie. They're second in the Premier League, 1 point off City. They're through the quarterfinals of the Champions League. Yet, we still don't believe they're playing as well as they could.
No. Well, they're not. And that is the problem. And that's kind of what you do to yourself. You know, when you play the way you did last year, and when you get to a European Champions League final, you've set the bar. There's a standard now, and that's what we do. We're holding Liverpool to their best. And then whenever they fall short of it, regardless of winning 3-1 away in the Champions League at Bayern, then it almost feels as though, well, they weren't at their best, but they still won. And again, at the end of the day, it's the result that counts. But fantastic result, but it wasn't the best performance by a long way.
And there's been people in England suggesting, and not just one, but several people over the last few weeks suggesting Liverpool should dump the Champions League.
Right, and focus on the Premier League.
Focus on the Premier League, and rightly so. Jurgen Klopp, I think, he's been a little bit smarting for those comments. And we're in these two competitions, we're in them to win. I understand it makes the scheduling a bit more difficult, but this Champions League's wide open.
Completely.
And could you imagine Fergie and his pomp at Man United when he had two competitions to go for, saying, nah, we're not going to bother with that. It's Liverpool have always had a standard where they're in these competitions to win, particularly the biggest ones.
Yeah.
And they're chasing City at the moment, but that race is well and truly still on. And we've already seen this year in the Champions League, absolutely anything can happen if a team has a bad night. You've only got to look at Real Madrid, Ajax, and one or two other results to suggest that the teams that we think are some of the favourites have absolutely got a chance of winning this competition.
And of course, one of the key players, the reason why Liverpool are where they are this season, Van Dijk. However, one player I don't think we've really discussed at length at all in comparison is Sadio Mane, who's been a difference maker now in some big games for Liverpool.
In some ways, Mane kind of reminds me of Sterling a little bit. I think we all know his flaws, and one of his biggest flaws was his inconsistency, because I don't think he was quite sure what he was going to do. Never mind defenders or anybody else, but I think, no question, from Christmas on, this guy has been on fire. He actually looks as though he's thinking about it. His touch has gotten better. His finishing's gotten better. So, absolutely, he's Liverpool's man right at this minute in time, as far as attacking play is concerned.
I think Sadio Mane has been outstanding for quite some time. My complaint or concern about Sadio Mane is, I think he's too happy to play second fiddle to Mo Salah. And you saw that especially during last season and maybe the start of this one, where he's let Mo Salah score the goals, he's the star, he's running the show, and I'll come into my own where needed. And you saw that in the Champions League final in particular, where I thought he was the only Liverpool player who had a game to talk about. Yet still now coming into this season, and to Stevie's point, when Mo Salah continues misfiring well into December, now all of a sudden he realises it's on me. And you saw that today. Again, he is simply an incredible player when he takes the game by the scruff of the neck. I just feel he doesn't do that enough.
On the other side of the coin, Henderson's the captain, isn't he? But there's no doubt Van Dijk's Van Dijk's the leader.
Yeah.
He marshals, and he does.
He walks into any team in the world.
Because he can, absolutely, because you can see the whole game in front of him. Because you can see everything from that position at centre half, and he marshals his defence, and he talks to the midfielders, and he smells runners from midfield, and he senses danger. He's big, he's strong, and obviously he's very, very quick. But he doesn't seem a shouter to me. He's not somebody who you see pointing and shouting at everybody, but he gets it done. Obviously, he's a good communicator, but it's not one of those that you see want to make a scene. He just makes sure in the most that everybody's in the same on the same.
When you play with a guy like that, when you're in front of a guy or beside a guy like that, and you do that, and you go,
all right,
he's in our team, by the way.
Did you have that with Alan Hansen?
Absolutely, yeah. Now, to be fair, we had a few. You looked around, and you went, "Wow, how am I getting again?" But absolutely, you look around and you go, well, "I'm all right."
Are you on the same page as Craig and Klopp when it comes to the title challenge?
Yes.
And this
absolutely
hindrance.
I think
is the argument not though, but if you're out, then you've got a full week to prepare each time.
No, I think that's not teams like Liverpool, Manchester United, Madrid. That's not how they should be thinking. You know, if you're a Leicester City or somebody like that and you have never won anything, then it's okay to say, well, you know what, we can put that aside and we'll concentrate on that. That's not what Liverpool's all about.
But have they got the depth in squad to be able to do that? That's the thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, they've got the depth of squad to do it, to win it. And the thing I like about it is that Klopp is not in any way, shape or form throwing that in as any sort of smokescreen or any get-out clause. He's going for both of these. And you can bet your bottom dollar the players know that. And so there's no grey areas anymore. The players are not running around going, oh, pity, we're going to have to play 2 games this week again. That's not how it works. I can't wait for this game.
Psychological as well, isn't it? I mean,
Absolutely.
I know there are fitness. I know you. It states the obvious. As the season goes on, of course you get more injuries and more knocks and more strains, and you do get tired. But then you cut your training back.
Right.
You know what I mean? You don't train the way you did in sort of October, November. You cut it back. But again, it goes back to we were talking about it earlier. I think somebody mentioned it. When the English teams were struggling in the and by the way, nobody's won it yet. You know, but they're all sort of flying. They're all through. But when they were struggling, what was the story?
Winter break.
Everybody's tired.
That's it.
That's why the English teams are not doing well. There's no winter break. Now nobody's mentioning it. It's all. Most of it is psychological.
How does this result change the conversation with regards to Bayern in the big picture of European football? Yet again, they don't make it far in the Champions League. They've been knocked out in the semi-final, of course, by Spanish teams over the last 4 or 5 years. Do we give them too much because they're Bayern Munich? Do we expect too much from them?
No, well, we expect experience at least plays some bit of a part in how they approach games. And today we're critical because the approach just bemused us all. We just didn't expect that. But I don't think it changes the conversation in that for the last 2 or 3 years, we've been recognizing that this Bayern team is aging and needs refurbishment. They're still good enough and strong and a rich enough club to win the Bundesliga as they continue to do, and experienced enough to go deep-ish in the Champions League. But I don't think anybody thought that Bayern Munich maybe had enough to win it for the last 2 or 3 seasons. Recognizing that, you know, this just kind of underlines it, and you know, it needs an overhaul.
Much more then on that conversation tomorrow with Ralph Honigstein will be here. Just a reminder, if you ever missed a show, you can download the daily podcast, which is available over on the website. Barcelona safely through to the quarterfinals after a 5-1 win over Lyon. Barcelona 2-0 lead. Lyon, though, got a goal back, which made it a little bit nervy in the early stages of the second half. Controversy, though, over Lyon's goal. VAR took a look at offside, but many thought, including the boys in the studio, in fact, there was a foul in the build-up to it. In the end, though, it wouldn't matter because Lionel Messi would turn it on with 3 assists and 2 goals to contribute very heavily then to Barca's 5-1 win.
Do you know what?
So who's better, Craig?
No, do you know what though? Let's just touch on that Lyon goal, because it took the game to 2-1, and it meant they were 1 goal away from going through on the away goals. So it could have had a big consequences. Now, everyone else thought it was a free kick post, with the player clearly with 2 arms over the shoulder, not allowing the defender, I think it was Longley, to jump. And this is the whole frustration with VAR. They go and check it because it's a goal and they have to check, and they're looking at the offside.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If you can't see that obstruction, infringement, you shouldn't be in that booth checking it. Or the other scenario, if you're saying, well, it wasn't clear and obvious, they've got to change the rhetoric and the writing of this law, because it's either a free kick or it's not. Right? Now, it didn't have consequences because the wee man turned it on in the end, and it looked very comfortable. But for long periods, it wasn't comfortable. Yet we've still, and that's why we're going to be talking about this VAR for a long time, even when it comes in, because we've got human officials sat there and can't see simple calls.
If only there was somebody here that could actually influence that.
From the IFAB board.
Mr. IFAB himself. We sit here and go on about all this. You're the very man in position.
What am I supposed to influence here? What somebody's seeing on a camera and how they interpret
you
it?
can speak up. You're involved in the rules of the game.
I was sitting next to you!
You're involved in the rules of the game. Next time you get a chance, speak up.
The rules are clear. It was human error in the booth.
Away from VAR.
Anyway, Barca weren't greatly convincing.
Not until the 3rd goal went in.
That scoreline was flattering in the end. But as you say, not until the third goal went in, which again spells it out with PSG out, with Real Madrid out, that there's no clear favourite. All right, Man City might be the clear favourite, but you think that we talked about it yesterday. They've not been over the line in this competition. Clearly, Barcelona have many times, but they're looking suspect at the back.
Yeah. We'll talk about who could go on and win it and who are favourites in a moment. But Stevie, Messi, we need to talk about him, but it's like
not too much.
Left what to
we
say.
didn't talk about Ronaldo enough yesterday, according to Ronaldo fans.
I mean, it's just scary. Both him and Ronaldo are just absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
They're on a different planet than everybody else in their era, and it's getting harder every single time they do something else to try and explain it. One gets a hat trick, completely changes it, rips the record books up, and then the next night, pressure, everybody's looking at Messi, and he gets 2 and assists with 3. I mean, we're running out of things to say.
The only thing is, if you're Lyon and you see Ronaldo score a hat-trick one day and you're thinking, oh goodness, Messi's going to answer kind for kind, as he always does, you know what's coming. It's scary, these two players.
Only 90 seconds on Messi. By the way, in case you want to ask us anything, you can do so via extra time. You just send in your tweets at ESPN FC. 8 teams left in the Champions League. The bookies have Manchester City as favourites, closely followed by Barca. Juve and Liverpool make up the top 4. It's a big jump then to United, Spurs, Ajax and Porto, who are very much the outsiders. Is that fair, do you think? City, Barca, Juve, Liverpool in that order?
Yeah, just about. Obviously, Juve with Ronaldo coming back, it was a big night for them.
Yeah.
Man City haven't been over the line, probably got the best squad left in the competition when everybody's fit. And then obviously Barca with the wee man, who was brilliant again in this game against Lyon, but they're not the best at the back. And Liverpool have shown they can win without playing well.
Yeah.
They didn't play great against Bayern, but they got the job done. I think that 4, for me, I would maybe throw Spurs in there as I don't think United at all. I just don't. But I think Spurs is an outsider on any given day. I think 5 teams potentially.
5 teams with Spurs as the outsider, not United.
Spurs is the outsider.
Do you agree, Stevie?
Yeah, I probably would.
Yeah.
I probably would. Yeah, I'd probably go with Liverpool just ahead of Juventus, to be honest.
Yeah.
And everybody else would be. Listen, if any of the first 4 wins, regardless of who they play, we're not going to say that's a shock.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. The rest, if they go through and if they win, then it will be a shock against those top teams.
I think the winner comes from the 4 favourites. As much as I understand the point Craig's making about Spurs, I just don't see them. I don't feel they're good enough individually or as a squad to get the better of any of the top 4. In all honesty, right now it's down to those 4 favourites, and it's hard to pick one between the 4.
It was interesting, just a few years ago we were talking about the factors, what's wrong with the Premier League sides, why are they not cutting it in the Champions League. It's the first time that 4 representatives from the Premier League are in the quarterfinal stages since 2010. It's interesting. I think back, and I think, Craig, you're taking it all as, well, it's cyclical. Yeah. And that seems to be, that seems to have proven your point here, isn't it?
And I think everybody, lots of people, and it was a big problem for the Premier League, by the way, that that is and always has tried to sell itself as this great league around the world, and it is doing fantastically well. But whilst it was, hitting the floor in the Champions League, it became a more difficult sell. But everybody tried to find a reason, and it was the usual scenario.
Winter break.
The winter break. The bottom line was, when they went up against the better teams, defensively, particularly defensively, they weren't good enough. Just were not good enough, and they were shipping goals, and hence they were getting beat. We've seen Liverpool much better defensively with Van Dijk in the side, get to a Champions League final last year. I just think they've got better squads of players now, and I don't think it's anything to do. I mean, Bayern Munich have just come off a winter break. Italy had a winter break. They're all out, apart from Juventus.
Mm-hmm. What, of course, has changed is the amount of money that's in the Premier League now. Is this kind of a sign of things to come?
It is, because the Premier League squads can build their squads a whole lot deeper. But it also comes with a responsibility of spending that money correctly, because you can spend an awful lot of money and not do an awful lot with it. Just take PSG as a very good example. But what you do need is incredible individuals. We're not going to see the likes of a Messi or Ronaldo ever again, so let's enjoy them while they're here and they make their teams, whichever team they're in, all the better. So as much as you have more money and are able to spend more than anybody else, you still have to have a plan around that, because it can go awfully wrong awfully quickly.
The draw is on Friday. Stevie, I imagine you want Porto Ajax. That's a given.
Yeah.
By the way, Ajax were,
No, it's very true. Yeah, maybe I'm doing them a
Porto
disservice.
scrambled by Roma, decent side.
Real
However,
Madrid were
I know Real
terrible.
Madrid were terrible, but they've got something. They're not going to win it.
No.
But they could, if you get blasé. Say Liverpool pull them and you get a bit. If any team pulls them out and they get a bit, this is just going to be easy.
Yeah.
Maybe what Real Madrid did. They've got a little bit about them, Ajax.
Yeah, we will roll back the tape. When Shaka, you said that Ajax were a force to be reckoned with.
And you laughed, if I remember correctly, Dan.
So, Spurs or United, which would you prefer?
Wow, that's a.
What do you mean? What would you prefer?
In the draw.
Well,
in Friday's draw.
Well, they can go anyway, can't
Draw
they?
the two.
Sorry? Yes, exactly. So who would you prefer?
think-
If you could fix it,
Who's
would you
Oh,
want
to have
to
an
He's
English team?
Liverpool.
Yeah,
Oh,
Spurs or
sorry.
United, yeah.
Sorry.
I think I would have to say United.
Right.
I think no question defensively of the four four English teams,
Yeah.
they've got the worst defence. So far, Solskjaer has organised them better than Mourinho did, in my opinion, and they're far better going forward, United. But I think that's the key. Defensively, they are the worst out of between them and Spurs. So I would take United for that reason.
Is the dream final Barca, Manchester City? Like, if we could fix it?
Or Barca Juventus, given again the parallel between Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo. I think that's also a huge
Obsessed
interest.
with Messi and Ronaldo.
Me and everybody else, it seems. But listen, these and two storied clubs with their histories, it would be good to see City there, just given their spending and given that we haven't seen City at this stage of the competition and how much it means to them.
So just a reminder, it's an open draw. The draw is on Friday. Anyone can play it, anybody else. We'll be looking ahead to it. A little more detail. Maybe Stevie's fantasy draw tomorrow. Who knows? But we'll be talking about it on Friday. Top of the table. It is really between Norwich, Leeds and Sheffield United as to which of those two sides will gain automatic promotion for the Premier League next season. Close matches in fantasy today. Shaka beating Craig just. Meanwhile, the guru, Mark, beating Stevie. Ali thrashing Rafton.
Well, Rafton is best impersonation of the Bundesliga.
This is Gab, by the way.
Gab's doing
I
serious.
mean, Ali is top of the table. Mark in second. Stevie, Craig, and myself.
Yeah, I bother more with the Premier League one.
Yeah, the Premier League one you're focusing on.
I can't get involved in all these. That's too
I
much.
don't think I've been at the top three all season.
Very expensive.
Thank you very much, everyone. It's been interesting. We'll be back tomorrow for more. Until then, goodbye. Welcome into Extra Time. Thank you very much for your tweets.
Good luck, bro.
People think that we just talk about soccer. Like, even if we're not on air, we just be talking about everything. I don't think we ever do.
I tell you what, away from here, I never talk
Well,
about
see if
it.
anybody knows what a bread poultice is.
If anyone knows what a bread poultice is,
yeah,
Yeah, tweet in.
then tweet me and
Don't look it up.
don't look it up.
I'm the only one
Don't
here
look it up.
that knows what it is.
What a bread poultice
And these three whippersnappers are laughing at me.
What was the other one you just come up with?
If you get nettle sting,
Right. Let you use a.
no, you use chickweed.
What's chickweed?
Chickweed.
What's that?
It's like a weed that grows down by a bum.
Chicken.
You stupid boy, honestly. But when you get nettle stings, you get the chickweed and you rub where the nettle sting was,
Right.
and the sting goes away.
Don't use the leaf. What's that leaf called?
You know what we do in the Caribbean? You use 3 different leaves. You get 3 different leaves from 3 different plants,
Yeah.
crunch it all up, and you use that as a natural kind of antibiotic or anti-inflammatory.
Oh, you never laughed at him. Hey, you were laughing at me before. You never laughed at Shaka. You're interested now, eh? Because it's for the Caribbean, eh? Is that what it is?
Bread poultice. Let us know.
Yeah.
What did you guys like? We go from this to this. What did you guys like more? Cristiano Ronaldo's hat-trick or Messi's 2 goals and 2 assists?
Both.
Yeah, can't we just like both?
Well, you hate Messi anyway, so I'm surprised
I'm
that you
rich
say
here.
that.
Oh, we get it.
Ronaldo's hat-trick is more impressive, isn't it?
Yes.
I am not picking one over the other.
I think if you had to pick,
No, I'm not. I'm
Yeah,
not.
I'm with
Yeah.
you, Dan.
yeah.
You don't have to pick. You
That's
don't
the
have to pick.
question.
Is Virgil van Dijk the best player in the world, not named Messi or Ronaldo?
I think you can say he's the best centre back in the world.
Yeah.
And I think we'll just leave it at that. That in itself
But
is.
if you were picking a team and your first pick can't be Messi or Ronaldo, who would you pick?
Mbappe.
Fair point.
There you go.
Okay, I'm moving on.
I was sitting right there.
Oh, really? Me too. I was trying to think of it as well.
Nettles. I get stung by nettles. You know, whenever I get stung by a nettle, I just went, you know, you, I just went, oh, I'm stung by a nettle. I didn't go around looking for chickweed.
You have to climb
Half
through
his
the,
nail.
have to climb through the nettles to get the chickweed.
Chickweed. Get even more stings and got done on the way back out as well.
How
But
much?
your bread bowl.
You're not scared of nettle stings.
I don't like nettle stings, but I don't go looking for remedies once I've been stung.
How much would Robertson?
I bought the Peronial, did
Go on. How much would Robertson's ban could affect Liverpool in the second term? How much would Robertson's ban affect the season? No.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, he's not right.
Well, because if he can't play,
Yes. Well, he can't play. He's banned.
No, take the effort.
the figures speak to that. All right. I wasn't suggesting. I was not suggesting. I didn't know it wasn't.
You said it.
I was just going to say, if he wasn't playing. Right, so here's my problem. If you don't want Moreno playing there, but it's not. I think he's the only other left back, supposed left back, which means you'd have to probably switch Alexander Arnold over there and play James Muller and right back, which is not a great option either. So whichever way Liverpool go, it's going to affect them in a negative way. Well, that's still nothing. No, a 10-year-old.
I'm not laughing at you.
I can't believe you actually pay you to be in charge in that people.
Is Neuer finished, Shaq?
Not finished, just not the keeper that he once was, and there's nowhere he ever played.
Is he still in the top 5 in the world?
He's in the top 10 in the world.
Top 10 probably.
Probably wrong to think about.
It's a lot to think about there.
You in tomorrow?
Yes.
I'm doing my
Perfect.
I'm doing my top 10 teams power rankings tomorrow.
Well, you throw the goalies in.
That's the rest of my
Whole show.
that's my evening take now.
You're going to be here tomorrow.
Yes.
Oh, I need to change.
Well, that's your evening take.
Oh, mate, the top 10 you
Yeah, I'm going working on my top 10.
I walk by your desk. It's not what I see in your desktop.
I don't know what you see.
I've never seen it.
Normally it's Expedia or other location.
Well, he's always doing expenses, isn't he? He's always here, there and everywhere.
Jack is the greatest holiday traveller. We're doing another top 10.
Another trip advisor.
No, that's not top 10. That would be top 100.
Rule change idea.
Law change.
The player who draws the penalty must be the player who takes the penalty. Thoughts? Happens in basketball, doesn't it? Where you-
That's silly.
Not law changes. Minor around at the moment. Yeah.
Final question to you, Shaq. Have you ever made a proper Trinidadian dish for you guys?
If I've ever made it for years, no.
Another thing to do tomorrow. So that's tomorrow. Your top 10 teams, your top 10 goalies,
what would you make?
your top 100 holiday destinations per year, and bring
How
some
do you keep up with the
bring
currency
some grub
change all the time? How do you keep up with the currency change all the time?
Use a credit card.
Ah, well.
Shaq, what would you make for us? I'm trying here.
I would make, I'd bake some chicken,
Right.
the macaroni pie, which is our version of chicken macaroni.
Right.
Kind of
rice, just to mix it up like that.
Nice. How spicy would you have?
I won't do it too spicy.
No.
My kids do it too spicy.
No.
Wait, we can.
Well, then I'll make sure and bring some along for you, Craig. Somehow I don't feel Steve.
No, I'm not spicy.
Steve,
Listen,
Not spicy.
how can I put this?
he's a man of the world. Palates.
How can I?
All right, keep it simple. Bring him in a shepherd's pie.
With a side of Greg Paulson.
Jamaican shepherd's pie.
That's it.
That'll do it.
Bring him in a shepherd's pie. Job done.
What's in Jamaica?
Well, I was going to ask.
Okay, right.
Hey, here's the thing. Even though the content
Aside
is
from,
the same
aside,
as
aside
what
from
we
which,
get in our country.
you know I'm not from Jamaica, right?
You're turning a bigger part. Yeah, same thing. You have mincemeat in your country, right? Right? Your potatoes in your country.
Must be Jamaican.
You have cheese in your country. You have peas in your country. I bet it don't taste the same as the ones from my country. That's why yours would taste a little different than mine.
We're done. That's it. Yes, done. The ESPN FC returns tomorrow. That's it to talk about Bayern's demise.